Welcome to the Hypnolady show. I'm Maureen Pisani, your host, and here we will discuss all sorts of topics regarding life, its problems, complementary modalities that help, and what to do to empower yourself on a daily basis. We will discuss all kinds of modalities and how and why they give you results and what you can do to have a better today every day. As we go through episode by episode, I will be discussing all kinds of topics, but remember, I will never highlight a problem without offering you a solution. So make sure you listen all the way. Fair? Ready? Good. Let's go. Well, hello and welcome to the Hypnolady show. I am Maureen Pisani, your host, and today we're going to talk about a very delicate topic. We're going to talk about death. So if you need to rearrange where you are, or go somewhere else, or switch over to the next episode to listen at a different time, I totally understand. But considering what we're facing, considering the epidemic, considering how many deaths we are facing so much more frequently than other times, I thought it would be appropriate to discuss. So the first thing is this. I'm not coming from a space where I'm going to impose my opinion on any of you. But it is something that we deal with on a daily basis. And it is something that is affecting us on a daily basis. And whether it's just stuff that's happening during the world or something that keeps coming up from a past event, my heart goes out to you. There is so much loss right now. And I'm finding that a lot of people have very similar questions. So to make a very long story short, if you are interested in finding out some information but don't know where to turn to, the book Dare to Ask, one of the books I've written, Dare to Ask, was written on purpose to help grieving, to help explain, to help highlight. So if you have any questions, you can go directly to the website prothrivesbh.com, find books, and get it. If you're a left brainer, if you need to process things internally by yourself at your pace, the book is there. However, I am here for you going through it right now. If you have questions, if you need to reach out to me, thehypnoladyshow.com, contact Maureen, and then send me your messages because I appreciate how traumatizing it is. Death is with us all the time. If you go into a forest, the ecosystem of how the leaves drop into the undergrowth and how they crumble and how they're absorbed back into the earth, how earthworms do their thing, how beginning and endings happen consistently. Wherever we go, we plant seeds, the seeds have to grow, right? And then the flowers pop and then they blossom and then they send seeds. And it is something that would, again, be there. And what happens with us humans, we are a fickle species. When something is common, we tend to ignore it. So we have this fake belief that the earth is flat. As in when I'm walking, I feel like it's good, right? Well, it's a sphere. We all know it's a sphere. With all the respect, and I mean this from the best place in my heart, but it's freaking me out how the people in New Zealand don't fall because they're at the bottom, right? It is something, and I love New Zealand, and it's one of my places I really want to go visit. But the fact of the matter is, in my mind, they're down here. They're like, the planet is like, they should be falling out into space, but they're not. And if I asked a New Zealand person, they would say the earth is flat because we take it for granted. We take another fallacy here. We take that this is solid. We take that we're static. But the earth is rotating around the sun hundreds of miles a minute. But because it's a commonality, a common truth, a generalization of life, we tend to, off it goes. Same exact thing with death. Now, we have certain cultures who are very into death, very aware that it's there. I grew up in one of those cultures. In Malta, death is preeminent and part of life, and everybody's involved. But then there are other cultures with all the respect again, Americans don't want to face it. If you're talking to a life insurance policy agent, they will ask you if something should happen to you, it would be advisable to have a life insurance policy. Well, if you're putting cards on the table, it's not an if, it's a when, right? So come from a space where we start looking at it. But now let's rewind, because what exactly is death? So this is just carbon, the biodegradable carbon vessel. That's not me. Maureen is inside. Maureen is my essence. Maureen is my consciousness. Whichever field of view you have, perspective you have, school of thinking you have, consciousness. Now, what exactly is consciousness? Consciousness is our soul. If you believe we have a soul, our soul is our consciousness. Is what makes this Maureen. Because the physical is exactly made up of the same things that the next person next to me or next to you has. But what makes me me is my essence inside this. So what exactly happens in the word we call death? All that happens is that my soul releases the carbon-based biodegradable shell. That's all. So think about it. We have, in the Judeo-Christian religions, the moment of conception, we know life begins. So we have life in utero, and then we have this extenuating circumstance where we're launched into this world, right? And then we have life here, and life here on this planet is what we consider life. And then we have another set of extenuating circumstances, shall we say, and poof, into the next. But how would you feel if you realized there is no death? We just live. Our essence is alive in utero, alive after birth here, and alive after that incident we call death. So the truth of the matter is, we miss the loss. And yes, this is not a laughing matter. When my dad died, it broke my heart. And I miss him because I miss him. I miss his physicality because that's the way we connected, right? We communicated. But when it comes to how we communicate or how we think of life, I share that I use current present tense with my dad. Now, a lot of people think that my English is really bad, so they give me, a whole pass here. But the thing is this, they give me a pass because they're like, oh yeah, she's a foreigner. But the truth of the matter is, I know he's alive. I know he's vibrantly alive. I know because I know that there is no death. The soul continues. So if you think about it that way, how much would it soothe your heart to know that the people you're missing aren't gone? They're just in a different realm. Now here comes the cool part. You know that there's ultraviolet and infrared in the spectrum of light. Only you also know that our eyes cannot see ultraviolet or infrared. As good as the human body is, as phenomenal as the human brain is, we can't pick those vibrations up. We can't pick those hertz up. So, what if our loved ones, what if your loved ones, the ones who have gone to the other side, are simply in a different realm where they're around you? How many times did you feel their presence? How many times did you get that little whiff of cologne or perfume where you're like, that was dad's cologne? Wow. How many times did you think you saw something out of the corner of your eye and then you looked and there was nothing there? They're around us, and they are around us because they love us. When you think about the bond, that love, that's unbreakable. When you think about how the words continuation, life continues. Coming from different perspectives now, I want to give you choices. In the Judeo-Christian religions, we believe one life, one body, one soul. They're together. In the reincarnation notion, we have one soul, many lives, many bodies. In the reincarnation notion, we have that every single time there's an incarnation, that incarnation has a series of lessons. And every single time that that soul comes down from a free unlimited spirit and it chooses to come down for an incarnation, that soul agrees to a contract. Family of origin, date of birth, date of death, and life experiences. As we're going through it, if that soul chose, let's say, 17 lessons, and as you know, life hits us upside the face, upside the head, smacked up straight in the face. But if, let's say, Jane Smith has refused to learn lesson 11, every time it happens, nope, 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 not for me, not for me, I'm refusing it. And then she dies. And then she comes back. Lesson 11 from that past life is bumped into this life. So learn it. Take what you can and learn it. Go through the uncomfortable because you want to only go through it once. Now, when it comes to death, why do we fear it? We fear it because we don't know. That's why the book was written, so you would have all the answers right there. Dare to ask. Yes, it's on purpose to give you the 360 from many different perspectives. How do we deal with death? Be prepared. We know that everything's predestined. My time of death and my date of death, it's already set. So here's how I help my clients. Think about it this way. If I'm meant to die tonight at 10:30, is there anything I can do to stop it? No. If I'm meant to die in 50 years, why am I worried today? What I can do is I can be in alignment, I can be in integrity, I can be as ethical as I can be every single moment of my life. So when time comes and I show up on the other side, my conscience is clear. See what I mean? So if there's somebody you need to tell you love, tell them. If there's an extra hug you want to give or receive, do it. If there's a moment when you just want to cherish these people in your heart, do it. On the other side of that, if you are in a situation where there are toxic people around, walk away. If there are situations in your life where you know you're not being treated with respect and honor, respect and honor yourself and disconnect. You deserve to have peace and calmness. Honoring you is not a bad thing. So come from a space where you allow. Now, the discussing death is going to be multi-episodes because there's so much. But the truth is this. Life continues. Now, I have a lot of people who are asking right now, oh, what about this? What about that? So let me put, be ready. Remember I told you I'm going to be talking about sensitive topics? So a lot of people tell me, well, you believe that there's life after death because of your religious belief. Well, yeah, that's true. What about atheists? So let's pretend I move my Catholic beliefs to the side, okay? Just for 2 seconds. And let's come from a very logical perspective. And let's say I'm talking to an atheist. Well, here's a question for you. You have two choices. Right now, you are living life with your belief that there is no God. What will happen if when you die, you come face to face with God? And then, oops, won't fix it. Let's pretend. Again, giving you just the logical aspects, right? You live your life believing that God exists, and then you die, and just for the sake of argument, you find out God doesn't exist. Which gamble are you ready to wager your soul? Because, oops, won't fix it. So take a moment, take a few moments, take a lot of moments, and think about it. Because your soul's in the balance. You have questions, you have topics, you have suggestions. Yes, yes, yes. Send them all to the hypnoladyshow.com. Contact Maureen. Because, truth be told, I enjoy talking about this. So if you have a perspective you'd like to share, if you have a comment, feel free. I will look into them and I will answer them. From my end right now, remember to shine brightly and continue to be blessed. Bye-bye. It's been great having you with me. If you're interested in getting daily updates, just subscribe to this podcast, in which case it will pop up every single day for you to listen to. If you'd like me to bring up a certain topic or answer specific questions, reach out to me at thehypnoladyshow.com. Find Contact Maureen and send it over. Thank you for joining me. I really, truly appreciate you. If you enjoyed what's been shared today, feel free to subscribe, like, and share with your friends. That's it for me. I'm looking forward to talking with you tomorrow, but for now, shine at your brightest and continue to be blessed.